Okay, so welcome back. Today we are moving on to lesson 3 in Germany. Okay, so we've looked at the problems of war. We've then looked at how certain people in Germany felt about the end of war. Now we're going to look at how some of those problems are fixed or remedied in some way. Tried to fix. Okay, so it wouldn't be a history lesson if it wasn't for some amazing questions. So, answer the question who control. We're going to answer the question who controlled Germany after World War One this lesson. But what I'd like you to do is pause it and try and answer each of these questions relevant to the topic that you have previously studied. So Germany up here, crime and punishment here, USA here, and Elizabeth here. So, if you've done them all and you're Year 11 revising just before your exam, focus on all of them. If you haven't done 2, focus on 2. Okay, so pause it, and then we will get these questions answered. So, who abdicated his throne? Oh, let's go in blue today. I shall pause it now. Okay, so I've just quickly answered those. So, who abdicated his throne in Germany? Obviously, that was Kaiser Wilhelm, and they ran away because he lost the war, and a bit embarrassing, really. What did people think about the end of the war in Germany? What I was referring here is the stab in the back myth. Remember, they thought that the army never actually lost and that their army was stabbed in the back, and that's going to be really, really important for the future of Germany, really. USA. So what benefits did the USA get from World War One? Well, basically, a lot of people owed them money. So whilst Britain and Germany may have lost a lot of money, some people actually benefited. So, for instance, Britain lost a lot of money because they had to buy all these weapons, but they bought them from the US, or they borrowed money from the US. So the USA were getting a lot of money there, and also they became a superpower because of that money. And then also, imagine all of Europe, which is where a lot of the money is, all of a sudden have no money. Well, who's going to be number one? Well, it's going to be the person with the most money and the person that's able to create all of these products. So it's going to be Germany, USA, sorry. Who fought in World War One, which helped improve their treatment? That was Native Americans and Black Americans. 12,000 Native Americans died. Whose power increased in medieval times? King, if you were looking for a specific, 1066. King William the Conqueror, comes over, bosses England, and changes it all. What crime relates to number 1? So treason, because this improves, the king's power increases. We start thinking, someone might challenge my power. What am I going to do? Ooh, let's punish people for challenging me. Boom, creates treason. Who were key men in her government? Sorry, Elizabeth's government. You can talk about the Privy Council. 2 names I'd pick up, Robert Dudley and William Cecil. Key people that we're going to keep talking about. What were MPs not allowed to discuss? Religion and marriage. And that's going to be really important because we're going to be looking at a bit about politics today, which is going to be talking about the MPs. So, what we are looking at today is who controlled Germany after World War One. Who controlled Germany after World War One? And what I would like you to do to start us off, I would like you to list the 4 problems Germany faces after World War One. What are the 4 problems faced by Germany? 4 problems. What do we think? Well, who ran away? Kaiser, so no leader. Bit about politics. We've got political arguments or disagreement. Okay, we've also got no money. Okay, no money. And then you've also got betrayed, so you've got the stab in the back. Stab in the back, that person's getting stabbed. Look at my amazing art. I mean, I really should have been an art teacher. Okay, so what we're going to be looking at is who controlled Germany after World War One, because what happens in this lesson is something is created that stays with Germany for many, many years. Okay, and it helps Hitler become powerful. So this helps Hitler become powerful, which is really the whole reason we're studying this topic. Hitler is key, so we need to look at how Hitler gets there. To look at how Hitler gets there, we need to look at who he ends up taking over, and this is that person. So, we have no leader in Germany. Germany's going to have a leader. So, we get a leader, and they call this person the president. Okay? President, top. Think about top Donald Trump. Donald Trump is the president of the USA. He is the top person in the USA. So we have a president of Germany. Top person. Now, can you just have one person running Germany? No, you can't. You can't have one person running Germany. So you're going to need someone to choose him. Because you can't just have one person can't say, I'm the leader, that's it, me done, okay, great, everyone go home. No, you're going to have to choose that leader. How are you going to choose that? Well, what they did is they got people to vote. They got people to vote. They actually got people over the age of 20. Men and women. Men and women. So this is actually more democratic than the USA, than the UK at the time. So we've got the president and we've got the people who vote. Does that make a country? Can we run a country like that? Well, I mean, possibly. I mean, it's going to be a hell of a lot of work with that president. And the people are going to be voting all the time. Imagine the president creates a law and the people are going to have to vote on it. Well, imagine that. Imagine he creates a law about, okay, I changed the tax to 20%. People are going to have to vote for it. So everyone, don't go to work, vote on this. 2 days later, oh, I'm going to have to create a new law. All right, no one go to work, you're going to have to vote on this. It's impossible. So you're going to have to get someone else to vote on laws, okay? And what we do is we create something, or Germans create something called a Reichstag. Now, Reich is often used in Germany to talk about German things. Think of it just like, it's another way of saying British. So we create a Reichstag. What they do is they create laws. I'll draw a picture here. So I'll draw a book here. They create laws, okay, and they vote. They vote on those laws. So they vote if they want to. Okay, so they create laws and they vote. Now, in 1919, they have 421 people. Okay, 1919, they have 421 people. Can 421 people come up with a decision quickly, efficiently, so that means a good law in a short space of time? Can they do that really, really easily on their own? Imagine I asked 400 people in your school to come up with what they want to eat for lunch. So a relatively small thing, what they want to eat for lunch. How long would it be for all of those people to agree? I don't think they'd ever agree. Okay, so 421 people voting on something or creating something really, really quickly. It's very hard. So what they do is they create almost like a leader of the Reichstag, and they call this person the Chancellor. So this is just one person. So we've got a president here. I'm going to draw him slightly bigger because he's slightly more powerful. He's the top boss, isn't he? Then we've got people here voting. Then we've got more people here creating laws and voting. And we've got the Chancellor. The Chancellor, he also creates laws, okay? That's meant to be a book, by the way. But he also controls the Reichstag. So he controls them. So what I'm going to draw here is someone being controlled by strings, okay? Think of it like a puppet. The Chancellor controls the Reichstag. But then these two, they all seem to be linked, don't they? So these two should link. Well, who do you think chooses the Chancellor? That's right. The President chooses the Chancellor. So the President chooses the Chancellor. So chooses Chancellor. What he also does, which I forgot to mention, is he controls the army. So that's going to be really, really important later. So he chooses a Chancellor who controls the Reichstag, who is voted by the people who vote for the president. I'll draw that out the other way around. So the people vote for the president, who chooses the Chancellor, who controls the Reichstag, who is voted for the people. So it all interconnects. Now, what I'd like you to do, because this is quite tricky, what I would like you to do now is give me a brief definition of what each person does. Give me a brief definition of what each person does. So pause it to give yourself a chance. So the people, well, they vote, don't they? They vote for president plus Reichstag. What does the Reichstag do? Well, help if you can spell it, Mr. Halpin. Reichstag votes plus creates laws. Chancellor, I'll stop writing these, you can do it. Well, he controls the Reichstag and he creates laws as well. President chooses Chancellor, controls our army, and is voted for by here. So these are what each person does. What I would like you to do now is tell me what is good and what is bad about each thing. What is good and what is bad about, sorry, not about each thing, about the whole thing. This is what we call, so what is good and what is bad about the whole thing? Okay, well, if people are voting, what's that called? Well, I'd say it's democracy. It's good that people are getting to choose, because otherwise someone else just makes a law and it might not be something you agree with, and if you haven't voted on it, you feel hard done by. You feel like someone else is controlling you. You don't feel powerful, and that is a really, really negative thing. Well, if it's democratic, sometimes you get really, really good laws. So you can get really, really good laws. So you say it's fair because it's democratic. Well, what's bad about it? What do you think's bad? Okay, well, we're going to have a look at what is bad about it in just a short second, okay? Just a short second. But another quick question, another recall question. What I'd like you to do is tell me, how is this different to medieval society? So in our school, we've done crime and punishment, looked at medieval, but even if you haven't, year 7, year 8, you've looked at medieval and early modern society. Tell me how this is very, very different to medieval society. Well, you could say England doesn't have a president, yeah? We don't have a Chancellor, we don't have a Reichstag. We don't have people that vote, right? We don't have democracy, that's how it's different. You could say it's still, well, actually, let's have another question, okay? If you had to say who these people were in our UK version, who are these people in our UK version? Well, the people are the people. President. Could say it's like the king. Say this is like the Prime Minister. So this could be Boris Johnson. Reichstag. This is what we would call our Parliament. So it's a similar system to what we've got at the moment. Okay, it's a similar system. Obviously, it's not perfect and everything's different, but I'm just getting you to understand it's a similar system. Think of it like the king, think of it like the Prime Minister, think of it like Parliament, think of it like the people. It's actually more democratic than our system was at the time. Okay, so just cleaned up the board slightly. Right, now what I'd like you to do is now we're going to start looking at what is negative about this. What is negative about this? But what I'd just like you to do is just have a think, first off. How would this system... By the way, sorry. This system is what we call the Weimar Government. This system is what we call the Weimar Government. So, the Weimar Government, it's called Weimar because it was made in a place called Weimar. I know it's said with it's said with a V, but you spell it with a W because that's German. So, Weimar and then government. Govern to make decisions about the country. So it's the people that make the decisions about the country. They are the people who run the country. They run Germany. So, after who leaves Germany? After Wilhelm. So Wilhelm runs away. Remember, he throws his crown away. So this person runs away. These people, all of this, now take over. Okay, so the Weimar government run the country. Okay, the Weimar government run the country. Now what I'd like to do now is have a think how this Weimar government, how do they create a law? How do they create a law? Okay, so you could say, well, first off, the people have to vote for the president, okay, and they have to vote for the Reichstag. So you could start off there. But then, how do they actually create it? Well, the Reichstag, the parliament, they create the laws. So they create it. So someone sits at home, they writes out a law, takes it in. What do they have to do to it then? What do they have to do? It doesn't just become a law. That's not fair. Well, they vote on it, don't they? So the Reichstag make the law, then they vote on it. Great. Okay. They vote on it. Remember, there's 421 people in there in 1919. So 421 people in the Reichstag. They vote, they create a law, they vote on it, perfect. It becomes law. Great. Amazing. Well done. Now, is that how politics and governing works? Remember, think back to the system. Can 421 people quickly and easily decide what they want for lunch? Probably not. So it's going to take a long time, isn't it? They're going to have to... So let's take this, for example. 421 people. Imagine one person says, I want to pay people 100 pounds a month. Okay, 100. Another person says, so great, how they vote on it. Another person says, no, 50. Another person says, no, 70. No, 75. Well, now you've got loads of different people. Now they're arguing, aren't they? I said this. They're going to have to come to an agreement. So after a couple of hours of arguing, or days even, they then may say, okay, let's go around about the middle, 50, 100, 75, okay? So they're going to pay people $75 pounds a month. That is how it works. Was that quick? Was that easy? No, it wasn't. It was slow. But what happens if there's an emergency? Imagine German people are starving, which they were. So that's meant to be a loaf of bread. I'll draw a knife and fork here to help you. So imagine people are starving. People need food. People need to be. They need to act quickly. They need to act fast. They need to get this done. Otherwise, people are going to die. They need to act quickly. One person says, let's give them 2 loaves of bread. Another person, no, that'll cost us too much, 1. Another person, no, 3. Meanwhile, while they're arguing, people are dying. Okay, people are dying. So this is not good enough. Okay, this is not good enough. So what we do is we give the president another power. We give him something called Article 48. I know. Sounds like something like from Star Wars. Execute Order 666. Let's execute Article 48. So, what this means is Reichstag are arguing. So they're useless, aren't they? They're useless if they're arguing and they're not deciding anything. The Chancellor controls them. Well, he hasn't been able to do his job. Useless. Can all of the country decide? Can they all vote? If 421 people are arguing, can millions of people come up with an idea? No. So we go to this man here, the president, the one person who can make a decision. Remember, one person makes a decision much quicker than 421 or millions. So he gets given this power of Article 48. He gets to rattle off. So that means he gets to make whatever law he wants. So imagine in the situation we're looking at, people were starving. They couldn't decide what to do. They couldn't decide what to do. They certainly couldn't. He could just make a decision straight away. Okay, I'm going to give that person bread. That person doesn't get anything because he's got money. Boom, 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 solved. Situation dealt with. Great. So, what I'd like you to do now is go back to your what was good and what was bad about the Weimar government. What is good and what is bad. And what I'd like to do is add in anything else that you can think of now about what is good and what is bad about this. Remember to pause it, obviously. So, obviously, democracy. Amazing, isn't it? Okay, amazing we've got this democracy. It's fair. Negative, well, it could be slow, can't it? It can be slow. Well, if it can be slow, well, haven't we got something to fix it? Boom, Article 48. So a good thing, some may say, is Article 48 in an emergency. Okay, great. Well, what's bad about Article 48? What's bad about it? What is bad about when one person makes a decision for the whole country? What is bad about that? Well, it's not democratic. And what I would like you to do now, to try and link our ideas in, is have a think about when we have learned about one person deciding everything for Germany, anti-democratic. When have we learned about one person deciding everything? Think about UK, think about Russia, think about it all. Well, you could say Henry VIII and Reformation. You could say Russia, when we did the Russian Revolution. If you've done the Russian Revolution, I know different people in our schools have done slightly different things. So you talk about Henry VIII and heresy. He just decided, boom, right now we're Protestants. And then thousands of people were known as what? Known as heretics, yeah. So now you've got a very similar situation, one person making all the decisions. Okay, so this is similar, without all of this, Article 48 is similar to medieval Europe, isn't it? All right, now, what I'd like you to do quickly is I would like you to answer the question, I would like you to describe the Weimar government. Describe it. Tell me everything you can about it. What does it do? What does it look like? How does it work? Tell me everything. I'm going to rub this off so you don't get all the answers. Remember, do it from memory. If you're not doing it from memory, you're not really learning. Learning is putting something into your long-term memory so you're able to remember it for years to come. Describe the Weimar government. Well, you need to mention that it's democratic. So people vote. Bonus marks would say everyone over the age of 20 could vote. You need to mention the Reichstag. You need to mention the Chancellor. You need to mention President. Okay, these are all things you need to know. Who controls the army? Who controls the army? President. Who creates laws? Who controls the Reichstag? Who controls the Reichstag? Who chooses the Chancellor? Who votes on laws? Who votes for the president? Those are all things you need to be including now. Okay, and now we get to our main question. It's going to really help us remember all of this. How did Germany fix its problems? So how does it fix its problems? Answer that question. That should take you about 8 minutes. Pause it to give it a go. Okay, welcome back. So to give you a bit of an idea as to how you should have done this, right, first identify the problems that it solved. Okay, then you need to explain. Now with this, you really need to be fully explaining it. So imagine you're writing for an idiot. Imagine, it may not be hard for some of you, imagine I am a fool. I know nothing about Germany. I know nothing about any of it. So you can't just write a sentence and then expect someone to know. You need to pretend that you're writing for an idiot. So fully explain it so they'll obviously be able to tell what you're saying. Quick way to do that is after you write a sentence, just ask yourself in your head, so, why? Okay, well, that's what you need to be doing. Then you need to make sure you're including all of these key terms, okay? So make sure you've said the Weimar Government. Make sure you said President. Make sure you said Chancellor. Democracy. Reichstag. Make sure you said all of these things. Make sure you've also mentioned, the big E, Article 48. Okay, boom. All right, remember, send me a picture of your work so I can quickly mark it for you, give a little bit of feedback, help you out. Remember, send me a picture of the work you did at the start to help me out to see how you're actually getting on with all this knowledge. And have a lovely day, evening, nighttime, whatever it is for you. Have a lovely one and see you later.